Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Dearborn webinar for August 2022. Today's topic, REcampus reports equals low-cost marketing. So backed by popular demand, I have two of our favorite guests. I have Kate Papke, who is our client success manager, and her people. If you are an REcampus partner or a Dearborn wholesale partner, you are talking to Kate and her team regularly. They solve problems. They help set up accounts on REcampus and are very intimate with all the details and workings. And Kate's going to be with us today. Kate, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Very good. And also backed by popular demand, Sarah Scobey. Sarah is our senior product marketing manager, and I think I've said it before, the best I've worked with in all my years at Kaplan. And so you guys are in for a treat because we're going to team up Kate and Sarah today. And what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to use the reports that are available in REcampus for some really low-cost marketing. And here's the beautiful part. It's low-cost marketing to people who already like you. And so how are you nurturing that value? How are you getting them on your conveyor belt of education? How are you making sure you're reaching these people with the right message at the right time? And what you're going to find out as Kate and Sarah take you through it is that there are tools in REcampus that allow you to understand where your customers, your students are in their learning journey at all times. From the time that they buy from you to the time that they actually enter a course to the time they complete a course or the time that they actually need post-licensing or CE. And we're going to cover that today. We're going to hit it pretty fast. Just like always, I'm going to go ahead and open up the screen here for us to take a look at each other. And once again, welcome in, Sarah. Welcome in, Kate. But
Thank you.
Our program today is pretty fast. We got 30 minutes. We got a lot of content here. We could literally take each one of these and break it down into 30, really probably a 3-hour session each. But you're going to get some golden nuggets. The first thing I would love to do before we really jump into this, I want to know who's on so that we can kind of tailor our conversation towards the people who are actually with us today attending. And then you people attending, you're going to get to play along. You're going to be able to ask questions. Chris Robinson's going to be our moderator. If you guys know Chris is a national account director, a salesperson that is available to you at any time. I know a lot of you already know him. He's going to be our moderator. If you have questions, ask Chris. Chris, I'm going to ask you to float up questions as fast as possible. So we've got a nice intimate group here, and I see some real school administrators. I see a couple owners. I see some people in here, names I know. And so here's what I want to do. I want to ask a really quick question of everybody, and it's a poll question. Play along with us so we can kind of tailor the conversation. And the very first poll question is really just trying to understand who you are. Just know this. The polls are anonymous. Nobody sees, none of the guests, none of the attendees sees what you're answering. But I will share the results, meaning we'll show a tally of who everybody is without it saying anybody's name. So it's anonymous, all right? So here we go. Number one question is, what role do you fill at your school? Go ahead and click right on your screen real quick. We're going to find out if we got an administrator. Yeah, I'm doing the day-to-day, man. I'm moving students. I'm in looking at stuff. I'm digging in. I'm digging into REcampus. I'm lining up with my school. How about owner-operators? I own the school. I operate the school. Instructors. We have a lot of instructors that show up. And I just want to learn and understand the business better. And then we got I wear all hats. And so not surprisingly, I wear all hats comes in pretty strong here. So, all right, we're going to close this poll in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm going to share the results, everybody. Look at that. So almost 43% are administrators, owner-operators, 7%, instructors, 7%, and then I wear all hats, almost again, 43%. All right, very good. So administrators, I wear all hats, owner-operators, and we got a couple instructors on. So, all right, let's go ahead, and we're going to jump right in. So let's do this. I am going to go ahead, and we're going to pull up the PowerPoint, and let's jump into this, shall we, Kate and Sarah?
Yep, sounds great.
All right, so first and foremost, REcampus reporting. Kate, take us into this, would you?
Yeah, so if you are an REcampus partner and you log in as an admin, you'll see your tools on the left-hand side. If you don't see those tools and you should be an admin, please reach out to our sales ops at dearborn.com and we can look into that a little bit more. But you should see these tools. So there should be a completion report, a transaction report, and an enrollment report. And we'll go into those a little bit more in depth, and you can see them right on the left-hand side in the red box.
Very good.
And then we've got another poll question for you.
Oh, look at this. All right, right up. All right, so here's the deal. We're going to jump in these reports. They're going to come pretty fast, pretty fierce. So we're going to do the transaction report first?
Completion report.
Completion report.
So we're going to find out how you know where people are at in the course and when they've completed. We're going to do the transaction report. We're going to do the enrollment report. Let's find out, what reports are you currently using? Once again, this is anonymous. You can say, I've never used a single report. That's why you're here, maybe. Or maybe you use this, and I promise you, you're going to learn a new way to use these reports today. You're going to get a couple golden nuggets out of this. So let's go ahead and let's bring up this poll. And the question real quickly is, what reports do you currently utilize on a regular basis for REcampus? Go ahead and just mark down. I know a bunch of you administrators are going to be able to tackle this, and you people who wear all the same hats and owner operators, go ahead and throw it in so we know how to kind of tailor this conversation if we could. All right. Just about everybody has answered. 5, 4, 3. Oh, it's pretty spread out. That's interesting. All right. We do have a fair amount of people who have not done it yet. All right, I'm going to end the poll. Here we go. And the poll, I'll share the results so everybody can kind of see where you sit and where you lie. So I have a fair amount of people that do the completion report. Oh, you know what? I wonder. My error. I think I set this poll so that it could only have one answer as opposed to multiple answers. Is that what happened? Yeah, we can't choose more than one. Look at, Hanel, keep me straight. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into the next section. I'm going to fix this poll and we're going to come back and ask it again. But I'm not going to hold everybody up while we do that, okay? So let's go ahead and let's jump on the PowerPoint. So Kate, why don't you take us into REcampus reporting and fire away.
Absolutely. So here's a screenshot of what REcampus looks like, but I'm going to actually share my screen. So this is an REcampus. This is our demo portal. So there's going to be a lot of orders on here that are just people that are getting demonstrations. So there are $0 orders. So the first report is the completion report. When we click on this completion report, we have a couple of options to pull the report. We can enter in filters. For me, I'm going to do an open-ended search. I like to do that because then I can export it into Excel and see everything as a whole. Personally, that's the way I like to do it. So when we pull this completion report, it takes just a moment to pull. We will see a list of students that have completed. And keep in mind, again, this is a demo, so it's going to be kind of all over the bit. You'll see your courses that you're familiar with in these. And anything that's blue on here is going to be clickable. So you can click into this and you can actually see what the student has done and the details about their completion. So you can expand these and see all the details of this. So the completed course is the Alabama course. So I'm going to go back to my completion report. Takes a second to pull. And then I'm going to actually export this, because to me, this is the best way to utilize this for anything for marketing, because you can filter and sort and kind of see who you want to target. So I tend to do Excel because I like to
filter.
I'm a filter person. So personally, I delete the first 2 lines because then I can use my filter features up here. So I custom sort, and let's say I want to look at people who have completed for the state of Alabama. You're going to have probably your own state, but anything that shows completed is going to be people who have completed. It shows the access date, the last access date, and then the date of completion over here. So if you're going to be marketing these people and you say, I want to want to reach out to anyone who's completed, and there's opportunities to use this. Sarah, I can turn it over to you on what you would use these for. But keep in mind, the pending are people that maybe just have to sign an affidavit. So they're on this report because they have to sign an affidavit or do something of that nature to complete it. But this completion date is something you can utilize with marketing.
Yep. Yeah, and I think when you think about the completion report, think about these as your cross-sell and your upsell opportunities. So someone who's gone through your licensing education, you can reach out to them if you offer exam prep or if you're a post-licensing state or continuing education, because they're going to need that eventually, right? And then your continuing education completions, if you offer professional development, think about reaching out to those students after they've completed to see if they want to advance their career even further. And then they're going to keep needing CE, right? It's continual, they're going to need it again at some point. So you need to make sure that you're reaching out with these students. They're engaged, they're familiar with your school. You just need to make sure that you're utilizing opportunities to keep your school top of mind throughout their entire educational journey. I have automations or one-off emails at the top here. You can do automations if you want to continually feed in students and send them kind of the same creative each time. I tend to lean on this opportunity towards one-off emails because you can kind of tailor the creative and change that up a little bit easier than automations, and think about, targeting things that are happening in the market or seasonality, things like that, to really keep your marketing fresh. I also think it's worth pointing out that if you're only offering licensing and you don't have any of the other offerings, exam prep or CE, to consider adding that as an opportunity as well, so you can reach out to these students for those cross-sell opportunities. If you're curious as to what we offer, reach out to your client success manager if you know who they are, or the general sales ops at Dearborn.com, just to see if there's something that we offer in your state that you can create these opportunities throughout the educational journey.
So let me just kind of I'm operating a school, so I think everybody knows I've operated a school for decades now, but I call it the conveyor belt, right? You do all the work in the world to get people onto your conveyor belt of education. You want to support their career all the way through. Everybody talks about lifetime value of a customer or a client. Well, this completion report gives you an opportunity to understand when somebody's hit a milestone. And whenever anybody hits a milestone, there's an opportunity to connect with them. There's an opportunity to send them a message. There's an opportunity to prepare them for the next step. Now, ideally, they may be being prepared for that next step before they hit that completion. But for sure, when they hit a completion, that's an opportunity to reach out with a congratulations. That's an opportunity to reach out with, hey, what's next? What are you going to do? Post-licensing, CE. Oh, well, how about this? How about exam prep? Right? If you've got exam prep products, we have exam prep products available. And a lot of you have your own exam prep products. That's great. But there's that opportunity to say, now here's what you need, because you're going to go take your state licensing exam. And as you go through these completion reports, not only does it work for licensing, but for CE, right? So somebody is doing post-licensing or CE. There's an opportunity to connect with those people. And the report is there. All the information is there. I used to pull these reports daily and make sure that we were connecting daily with people. You could do it weekly, you could do it monthly, but I see this as a school operator saying, I want to know what's happening with my students at all times, and I want to connect with them with the right message at the right time. Mm-hmm. Awesome opportunity here to do that.
And I do want to point out one quick thing, that anything that is got a completion requirement and gets credit is going to be on the completion report. If it's something that doesn't actually complete, like an exam prep or a Q bank, those will never be on the completion report. But I'll show you in the enrollment report how to kind of see where the student left off.
And I think the key there is those professional development courses, they don't have an approval. And so there really isn't a way to understand when somebody's actually completed, because the way our system works, it's tied to like a final exam and a completion. And if they're professional development, it doesn't quite complete the same. And so, but Kate, you will take us through how they can see where those people are, right?
Exactly. Yep, exactly.
And then one thing I did want to mention here, if maybe you're not strong in your marketing copywriting or you just need a place to start, I thought it would be good to mention our Dearborn Launchpad. If you're a current REcampus partner, you have access to this portal. It's kind of our all things marketing. It's got best practices, kind of tips and tricks. But there is specifically, you can see on the left-hand side there's a resource section, and we've put in some templated copy, both social media and email copy, just to kind of get you started down the path if you're stuck, to kind of get those marketing gears moving. There's CE copy, pre-licensing and post-licensing that you can align to your marketing messaging to that completion report to start that marketing campaign.
Really a cool resource, everybody. If you haven't been to Dearborn Launchpad, am I saying it's perfect? It's not perfect, but I do know, even for myself, sometimes it's really hard to lift a piece, a marketing piece. It's really hard to do that initial lift to get it off the ground. Sometimes it's just easier to respond to something, to like, oh, well, that's close, but I think I would do it. It's a lot easier to do a buff and shine, and these pieces are available to you. Take them, use them, manipulate them, change them. They're to get you off the ground and get you moving forward. If you haven't been there, go take a look. I even think there's some videos there and stuff that may be a benefit for you too. So, all right. Should we go to the next? Transaction report. This is the next one now. So just real clear, we just finished the enrollment report. You can tell when people are finished, or tell if they're pendings, like they have an affidavit required. Kate, what exactly is the transaction report, and why do I want to use it?
So the transaction report is going to be a report that is just the numbers. It's not going to give a lot of information about what the student ordered. It's just going to give information about the actual transaction. I do want to point out, if you are on this portal and you are getting a revenue payment monthly, this is not the best report to kind of figure out your revenue payment, because there are going to be variables if there's any adjustments in an order, such as a student adds a book or you upgrade the product, anything like that. It's going to be in real time. So it doesn't always reflect when you pull a transaction report by date on what your revenue payment might show. So just to keep that in mind.
So if I'm a school operator, right? So I look at this. So this is a report I look at to know, how am I doing today? This is like my book. I look at this almost like my book of business. How healthy am I? What's happening? And you can set the date range. What's happened in the last week? What's happened in the last month? Or you can just set it to the day. If you want to say, what have I sold today? It's a really good kind of snapshot to see how you're selling.
Yep.
So the transaction report, very simple, very easy to see, very easy to read.
Exactly. So this is the transaction report, as you can see on the left-hand side. I'm bolded here. The filters, as Toby said, you can pull a transaction report for today, yesterday, last 7 days, however you'd like, and apply it and pull it. Again, I'm going to pull this open-ended, and it's going to show me, keep in mind, demo account. So there are I guess there are some totals here, but that's taxes. But these are going to be demo accounts, so most of them are going to be $0. Again, I'm going to export to Excel. And from there, I have a transaction report. And this one I kind of made a little smaller so you can see everything. Again, I tend to delete.
So, Kate, real quick, the transaction report pulls up that list. You can just look at it in REcampus. Unless you want to do some filtering and organizing, then you can download to Excel, correct?
Exactly, yes. So if you wanted to see, again, these order numbers are blue, so they're clickable. If you click into those, it takes you directly to that student account. So you can get into the student account multiple ways on the portal. This is just one of them to see the details of that transaction.
Got it. Because the transaction reports is just going to be one line, and it's one transaction, one total dollar amount. But really, there could be 3, 4, 5, 8 products in there because they bought it.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can see the first one I clicked on. There's a return in there. So there's 4 lines. So if you pull an enrollment report, you're going to see all 4 of those lines as a separate line item. So transaction reports gives you one line item about the transaction that happened, that order number. And then if you click into it, it gives you details about that order specifically, but nothing about the actual status or where the student is in their progress.
Right. It's just a snapshot, very quick look. Exactly. I can see what I'm selling, see what's been returned, and then I can click into it if I want to dig in deeper.
Correct, yes. And then export it if you want details about that a little bit more. And I do want to note also on the transaction report, you can also see if you have promo codes, this is going to be where you can view what promo codes were used.
Got it. So you can start to take your tally on how effective your marketing was, where people are coming from. Very good. Okay.
Yep. And if you have questions on the promo codes, if your school qualifies them, because there are some criterias, then you'd reach out to our sales ops or your CSM, salesops@dearborn.com.
Cool.
And then I'm going to turn it over to Sarah to go over that a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think this report is good because you can see who's making multiple transactions, right? And the amount that they're spending. Maybe not as much detail as an enrollment report, but consider using this to find your most engaged users or high impact users, those who are coming back yearly for CE or who took licensing education and then CE. Reach out to them for testimonials. If you don't use a third party to gather those, or you're not getting organic testimonials through Google reviews, for instance, send them an email, see if they'll be willing to give you a testimonial, and then be sure to use that testimonial throughout your marketing. We do a testimonial Tuesday every week on our social media platforms where we're pulling in those testimonials that we've gathered. Another way you can use this to kind of to reach out to those high impact users is just do surveys, see why they keep coming back to your school, what they liked about it. And you can use that information to build out your value proposition to use throughout your marketing, get maybe some marketing claims or proof points. And again, use that information through all marketing channels to make sure your messaging is consistent to why your students like your school and why they keep coming back.
Yep.
Excellent. Love it. All right.
Next report we'd like to talk over is the enrollment report. And I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to pull this enrollment report with a little bit of a filter because of the size of this portal. So I'm going to pull it for this last month and hit search. So it's not a huge list, but you can see here it's got the name of the student, the assigned products that they have, and the number of completions. So because I pulled the last month, there's no completions in these students. But again, if it's blue, you can click on it and see the details of the student. So when we're in here, we can see the courses that they're in. We can see the detail of the specific student on each course. Here we can also request a refund or request an extension. So we're in that area.
Because this looks a lot like kind of a combo between the other reports, but there's a significant piece here. And in the enrollment report allows you to actually manage extension requests, right? And,
yes.
And full details.
And I do want to also say, if you have the ability as a school of record to omit an exam attempt, if the power goes out or something of that nature, you have the school of record have the authority to do so. You will see that here as omit if there is an attempt that has timed out or something of that nature. If you need more details on how far that student has come, just reach out to your client success manager to get that detail. So if you ever have to go to the state and say, this is why I omitted it, you have the details of the record. So this is all from the enrollment report, clicking into that student specifically. A great way to use it for marketing, though, is exporting it. And I do have one that's already exported, again, in Excel. And then I delete the top 2 rows just so I can filter cleanly personally. But then you'll notice here that these students have multiple lines because it's every single enrollment that they have within that package. So in the transaction report, it may only be one line because it's one order, but in that order, there's multiple products within that package. Something to look at then is how many credit hours. These are the courses that have credit hours that are going to have a completion because there's something to gain and complete. The other ones are listed as exam prep. There is no completion requirement. We go on over a little bit further. It tells us how far that student, if they've started it, if they're in progress. Keep scrolling over. It tells us exactly what unit we're in. So if we want to know a little bit about an exam prep, it kind of tells us where they were last in. So if we want to see if someone's actually using an exam prep tool, we can see that, but we won't ever have a completion.
So Kate, the enrollment report this is going into the fine detail. This is getting me every single product that they have. I can see if they've even started or not. I mean, how about this? I wish I had a poll question ready. Maybe everybody could just put it in the chat. Does anybody know, or does anybody see people who actually buy a licensing package or their course, and the people buy it, they pay good money, and they never open a single course. Anybody ever see that? Just raise your hand or say yes in the chat box. Yeah, look at this, Diane Holmes, all the time. It blows me away. There is a certain percentage, and I'll share with you, it's anywhere from 3 to 8% of the people that purchase, life gets in the way. Something happens, something changes, and they never open up a serious. They never even open up the account. I don't know what happens there, but this place here, you can go in and you can see actually where they're at in their course. So if they've made it to Unit 2, Unit 3, you can even see the exam prep to see if they've gone into exam prep. Super report. I would imagine that if I'm a true educator, administrator, I'm spending a fair amount of time in here to really kind of understand how my students are doing as they're going through the course and finding those places in those areas that I can connect with them to help them, give them the message they need at the time they need it.
Yep. And that's a good segue into marketing opportunities. Yeah. So think about those that just enrolled in your course, maybe haven't started it yet, but it's only been maybe a few weeks. Send them welcome emails. Welcome them to the program. Give them tips and tricks. This is a good place to do an automation or a drip campaign because you don't really need to change the creative too often because it's really just a touch point to help the student move through their education. And on the flip side, those you said that haven't started or haven't completed, think about reminder or check-in emails, or better yet, calls if you have the customer support bandwidth, to just check in to see what pain points they're having, if they're having technical issues or something like that. The bottom line is you want to make sure they complete your education because you want to have those opportunities to continue to cross-sell and upsell along their educational journey. So using this enrollment report to see where they are can be really important for those student reach outs. And
we do a pretty significant welcome email campaign at Kaplan. We do that. We literally try to, in fact, we did too much for a while. You've got to find the balance for you too. There was a point we were sending like 23 emails to a new student in the first month. And it was like, oh my God, there's too much. So you have to be a little bit judicious about it. And what we've really found is they really don't mind being contacted if you're giving the information they need when they need it. And so in this case, somebody signs up for a course and they don't even go into it, or maybe right when they sign up for a course, it's a great time for you to give them a message about what they can expect or how they can contact you or how they can be in touch and get support from you, more so than maybe what your website said. So if you're not doing a kind of a structured, campaign, I would seriously look at it. Like Sarah says, Sarah, what else should they know about this?
I would definitely make sure there's a way to reach out and just know that you're there to support them. I think that's the biggest piece, that you want them to be successful. And so you can use these emails. I would say for a welcome emails, no more than 3. We tend to stick to 1 or 2 actually, because you have to keep in mind they're also getting their confirmation emails and kind of instructional emails and stuff. So you have to make sure that you're not hitting them too often with an automation.
Right on.
And on that note, on the confirmation emails, note as an admin, you can get those copies of completion emails and confirmation emails. And if you're not, let us know at salesops@dearborn.com and we can get you hooked.
Great point. So at the end, when a student completes a course, they get an email. When the student enrolls, they get an email. And if you, as an administrator, school operator, if you want to receive a copy of those and you're not, contact Kate, the sales ops at dearborn.com.
We'll get you all hooked up.
Excellent.
And then one last just quick hit. I thought I'd throw up some email best practices since we've talked a lot about email as far as one of the marketing channels to most utilize. Obviously, the subject line is the most important part of any email. Make sure that is very relevant. Don't forget about the preview text too. Down at the bottom, you can see what's highlighted in red there. That's the preview text. It's really just supporting text for the subject line, but kind of gives them another little nudge, right? To help them open it, because that's their ultimate goal. Always make sure you have the opt-out information and suppress against those opt-outs. I would say unless it's a welcome email or kind of those reminder emails, those are considered transactional emails. They're student communication, so you do not have to.
They're already your customer.
Yeah,
they've
already made a purchase.
Them about the product. Right.
You're not marketing to them. Always keep main message and call to action above the fold, kind of like this marketing architect's email you see on the right. Focus on quality over quantity. Quantity does not mean more sales. It mostly means more opt-outs. And then always A/B test your creative. That's going to help your quality, right? Always choose one thing. Don't test multiple things, because you're not going to know what works if you're testing multiple things. Just split your list, A/B test it, see what's going to be more engaging to your audience.
Yeah, always keep testing. Keep trying new things. Make sure you compare it to the previous time you did it. Just keep getting, you might meander a bit, but keep getting better at connecting with your students at the right time with the message they need to help them move forward, right? So how do you get them on the conveyor belt? You've all figured out that you're selling your courses, you're getting people in, and now how do you keep them on your conveyor belt of education? You know, how do you travel alongside them in their career journey with an education journey? And if you find that you have holes in the education journey, you know, reach out to sales ops or to your salesperson and ask, you know, boy, you know, I'm not doing CE. I should be doing CE. I'm not doing post-licensing. I should be doing post-licensing. Get them on that conveyor belt, find the right time to connect. And one last thing on this slide itself, this preview text, people laugh at me, boy, if you saw my email box, I get a lot of emails, and I have like 180,000 unopened emails in my box. And I think that's okay, because I get a lot of stuff that maybe isn't appropriate for my job and work and all that kind of stuff. We have great spam filters, but I can tell you that preview text is super important when I get an email, because of how many I get a day. And if I can get my answer, or if I can get what I really need to know in that preview text, along with the title, you know, the big title. Yeah, that preview text is super important, especially for busy people. So don't underestimate the power of that preview text when people are looking at their emails and they're getting, like me, over 200 emails a day. So super important. All right. Any closing thoughts? Any questions that you have that the participants? We have about, I guess we're actually over time. I just wanted to say thank you. If you have any questions, send your questions to Sales Ops, and we'll get them answered. Please, please, please take the time, take the effort, connect with your students, and watch your business grow. And if we can help you once again, reach out to us. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Kate. And thanks, everybody, for being a part of our webinar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.